And finally, we'd like to welcome Gabrielle Bove to discuss and hopefully roast at least a little bit Bob Bove.
So first of all, my husband's story before was completely untrue. I would never wish him a lifetime of unhappiness more than he's already had. So I didn't really want to be up on the stage today, but it was really the only way I could get my husband's undivided attention. Unless I make motorcycle sounds, which I sometimes do, but that's a story for another night. It worries me that Doug is laughing so hard. So, first of all, my husband goes by a number of different names. Doug and I call him Rob, but he also goes by the names of Robert, Bob, Bert, Honey, Dad, Jerk, Hey You, my favorite, Tully McCullerson, Cocky McBlockerson, Captain, and Boss, which is not ever the name that I call him. He is an excellent husband and father, though, when we can find him. Because if my husband is not working or racing or napping, he's in the garage. And it's not like we have a beautiful garage, but it does have heat and cable TV.
And a refrigerator.
And now a refrigerator, and I'm sure it won't be long before it has air conditioning.
And a bed.
And I was going to say, and a cot. And probably a whole other family. But I can't complain because my husband does know how to fix just about anything. But Doug Donnellan might disagree on that one. For as long as I've known my husband, which is 28 years, he's loved racing. Really, he loves anything that moves fast, which is funny because he finishes projects around the house at a snail's pace. He actually, I'm actually happy that he has a sport that he loves as much as racing and that keeps him young and happy. And what I also love about it is something he doesn't know is that when he's out racing, I'm out shopping. So I'd like to congratulate my husband, who I love dearly, on this award. You deserve it.
I'm sure you deserve the rest of it, too.
I was actually expecting to get served up here now. Thank you. I don't know what to say. This was a surprise, and I'm in great company of two people who, have become good friends here at the track over the years I've been here. Cindy. Cindy, the one thing about Cindy being the starter is after a while you get to know her move and exactly when that flag is going to come down. And we've got that down. Doug on the sidecar, he knows when to pop that clutch. And Brian, it's always been fun because when we first started racing sidecars with Doug years ago, we were right at the back of the pack with Brian and Heather battling all the time. And it didn't matter who was last, we were battling and had fun, and they were always great competitors. And now we're two sidecar teams that are always battling at the front. And it's great to see that we've matured like that. It's also been kind of a special week for Brian and I. And he didn't even notice it, but besides the two of us making the Hall of Fame this year, Thursday was, according to Facebook, was our 9th friendiversary. And so, wow, what more can two guys want in 1 week, It's spectacular. But I thank Doug. First, I thank my wife for just being so understanding, my hours in the garage and my hobbies. I'm just, I have more hobbies than any one person should have, from model trains to horse racing to motorcycles to road trips with motorcycles with Doug. Thank you, honey, for being so understanding. You're a wonderful person. You're a great wife. Thank you. Doug brought me here, and Doug has been my little brother for some 40 years now. We've been friends, and we always find a way to have a great time and travel on the road when we go racing. I invite anybody to come with us. You will have the time of your life driving down the road with us, and we could also use the gas money. But I thank him. I mean, we've ridden bikes from when we were little kids. My first motorcycle, I was 12 years old, and I bought it for $10, a Honda SL100 with a hole in the block, but we got it fixed. And that was I knew I loved bikes at that time. I've got a lot of stories, great memories that have come from this club. I thank Bob Coy for creating such an organization. Some stories that stick in my head is, when we had the Moto America event, Bob graciously gave me the microphone and said, "You're the announcer for the USCRA," and in his other hand, he held tightly an arsenic pill, just waiting to pop it if things went south. But I enjoyed doing the race calling, and that was a lot of fun. A funny story is I got Bob to, convinced Bob to do a Motogiro in New Jersey, and I believe it was the first spring Motogiro, and Rick Snyder and Barb Wood helped me do all the arrowing, but they could only help me with like half of the route, and so I had to do the other half myself on the Friday or Thursday night before the event. So I was driving around in my pickup truck, and I got into a rhythm where I would put it in park, jump out of the truck, staple an arrow, jump back in, move to the next point, staple an arrow, jump back in. And one time I stapled the arrow, I went to run back to my truck, but I forgot to put it in park. And so here I am by myself as the sun is setting in some farm area of New York State, chasing my truck through a cornfield. So that's just one great memory, and another great memory is Doug and I were going to win our first sidecar race one time. And we were going into turn 11, and it had just rained, and we were in the lead, we were going to win. And kind of slid to the left, slid to the right, and the sidecar caught, and I got launched. And Jim Marhan was standing at trackside, and he watched me sail through the air, and he watched me hit the ground, and he said, "Oh my God, I think his legs just telescoped." And they put me in the ambulance. I hit my head real hard, and I was in a daze, and they put me in the ambulance, and my kids were like 9 and 5 at the time. And they carried me out of the ambulance at the track into the track hospital, and my son and daughter were frightened, and they're looking at me, and my son says, "Dad, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm okay." And then my daughter looks at me with this expression of fear on her face, and what am I going to tell my little 5-year-old daughter? She's just terrified, and she looks at me and she says, "Dad!" And I said, "Yes, sweetie." And she says, "Could I have money for ice cream?" So you can't make this stuff up, these great memories and great people that I've met along the way here. Besides Doug, Rick and Kathy have always been great friends. Frank Donnellan has always traveled with us early on and been a great friend. And, Jay, the official fan club president of the Barry Goldwater fan club. And of course, I learned everything I know about women from Steve, #MeToo, D'Angelo. Steve will also be giving lessons on changing tires later on this evening. And then a lot of fun, John Stramford, I teased you over the years, but thank you for being a good sport. Marcus, where are you, Marcus? What? You and I have always joked, and I tease you over the years, and thank you for being such a good sport. I'm blessed that I can call all you people friends. It was a joke? And, yes, it was a joke. And to be up here and be allowed to take part in these banquets every year is just incredible. Everybody here, everybody should be as lucky as I am to have the friends and family that I do, and thank you so much.
Thank you.